Right now tonight at 5, the day after the destruction across Metro Louisville, 4 confirmed tornadoes, 3 in Louisville alone after the powerful storm swept through at this very time last night. 1 person is dead from a falling tree in southwest Jefferson County. The south and southwest parts of our city hit the very hardest.
The National Weather Service says this apartment complex in PRP was hit the hardest of all areas in Louisville Metro. From our Sky 11 drone, you can see the roof completely ripped from one building, the other building heavily damaged. An EF1 tornado with winds of over 100 miles an hour. Experts say it is nothing short of a miracle that the people inside are still alive.
The door was like trying to come off, and I got my 2 babies in there, so I took the door and was holding the door, I don't know. And like I was telling him, 3 minutes tops, so it's off. But it was the worst 3 minutes ever. I can't say that. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Thanks so much for joining us right here at 5. I'm Shay McAllister. The toll from yesterday's storms now becoming clear.
People across Louisville are dealing with power outages and damage. We learned last night from the mayor that a man had died and another person was injured at that very apartment complex. Our team of reporters who covered the storm last night are right back in the neighborhoods today. Isaiah Kim Martinez and photojournalist Alyssa Newton are in Pleasure Ridge Park at that apartment complex that had its roof torn right off.
But first, meteorologist Christina San Juan and photojournalist Elijah McKenzie are in the Newburgh area. Christina, what have we learned about all of those tornadoes that touched down yesterday?
Well, Doug and Shay, the National Weather Service office here in Louisville has been extremely hard at work all day surveying the damage from yesterday's storm. Right now we are in the Newburgh neighborhood and the damage is extensive. In fact, if you take a look behind me there, you can see that cleanup crews just arrived just within the last couple of minutes to work on that giant tree that's down on a power line. Unfortunately, that's a common scene in this neighborhood. This neighborhood is where 2 tornadoes have been confirmed. One touched down just south of the Newburgh post office and ended at the Van Hoos Education Center. It was determined to be 100 yards wide, 90-mile-per-hour peak wind. The other one started just east of the post office distribution center and ended at the Yum headquarters on Gardner Lane. That was 75 yards wide and wind around 95 miles per hour. You can see trees are down on power lines, car windows have been smashed, roof damage all over the place. The street lights surrounding these areas also without power at this time. Now taking you to the Pleasure Ridge Park, that's where a high-end EF1 with 110-mile-per-hour wind heavily damaged an apartment building and displaced dozens of residents. This was one of the hardest hit areas in the metro. One man did lose his life in the storm after a tree fell on him, but just to clarify, it has not been confirmed whether that death is directly related to the tornado itself. Also, the area just to the south of Brandenburg, Kentucky was struck by an EF1 tornado. Several cedar trees were uprooted or snapped along with roof damage. The tornado was on the ground for approximately 50 yards before lifting. Damage surveys, of course, take many components into account before determining the strength of that tornado. As meteorologist in charge John Gordon tells us, one large tree could be down, but then it could be surrounded by untouched ones.
If you look around, there's little dinky trees next to it that are fine. So you probably have 2 or 3 small little funnels inside the main cell, and where it hits, you get damage like this.
Now, thankfully, we can rest easy for a little bit as the WHAS11 First Alert Storm Team is tracking a quieter and warmer pattern ahead, which Ben will tell you about coming up here in just a couple of minutes.
Okay, Christina, thank you so much for that update right there out of Newburgh. Well, we now know the identity of the one Louisvillian who was killed during the storm.
The Jefferson County Coroner's Office has identified the victim as 30-year-old Billy Corum. The Coroner's Office says Corum was walking his dog about 50 yards away from his home on Woodchat Way in southwest Jefferson County when the high winds caused a large tree to fall, striking him in the head, causing severe blunt force injuries. Woodchat is 3 miles away from that apartment complex that got hit by the tornado.
Today, Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg gave an update on the damage caused by the storms and the ways Metro Services is working now to clean it up.
It's painful every time that there is damage. It's incredibly painful when there is injury and even worse, a loss of life as we experienced last evening. And so this is one of the most important functions of Metro government and our social service agencies is to help those who are in need. And so that's what we are working to do, and that's what we'll continue working to do.
Greenberg says so far Metro Services has received over 30 calls of service to clear debris or fix damaged roads. Greenberg also said the storms displaced at least a few dozen people living at what is now a heavily damaged apartment complex in PRP.
The American Red Cross telling us today 20 of those tenants remain in temporary housing, and they have shelter space for more if needed. WHAS 11's Isaiah Kim Martinez and senior photojournalist Alyssa Newton are live at that complex right now. And Isaiah, by the looks of the damage, it seems that we're fortunate no one lost their life at that location.
Well, Doug Shea, you could call it a miracle just given the very powerful 110-mile-per-hour winds the National Weather Service confirmed ripped through these homes just yesterday. Now, the damage seen here on the outside and from up above only tell part of the story of the trauma that folks here experienced over the last 24 hours. The clearest picture painted from up above. Our Sky 11 drone showing the scope of the damage at the Oaks at St. Andrews Apartments along Brooklawn Drive, suffering from a high-end EF1 tornado.
It is a miracle that our city, there's not more devastation to life.
Many of these apartments are likely unsalvageable. On one side, you see shingles broken off and spread out across the parking area. On the other side, the roof is completely gone. Insulation lining the floors, and several of the units are caved in.
I don't know what we're going to do. I really don't.
Denise Allen was inside her apartment when the tornado hit,
It was the worst 3 minutes ever. I can't say that.
where all she could do was pray.
I got my 2 babies. I have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old. My man wasn't about me or none of that. Just making sure my kids was okay.
At one point in the night, Allen had one of her oldest daughters, Mia Shakur, on the phone and said,
And everything, all the trees are down everywhere. You can't see anything. The roof is off the next building. I was like, oh my God.
Shakur got over as fast as she could, thankfully, to find her mom and younger siblings alive.
A scary situation, especially when you ain't never been through like a natural disaster before. Could have been my last day talking to my mom. Could have been the last time ever seeing my brothers and sisters.
Nearly a day later, she's walking her younger siblings into her mom's apartment, windows shattered, trying to salvage what's left.
From here, I don't know where we go, but as neighbors, we'll figure it out.
Allen, though, is keeping her faith, asking for any help the community and city can provide. And we've also learned about a man, an older man living here who neighbors say was essentially swept out of his home during the storms. We do know he was sent to the hospital after the storms came through, but at this time we have no word on his condition. I'm live here in Louisville. Isaiah Kim Martinez, WHAS 11 on your side.
Isaiah, thank you very much. And all of you have certainly noticed the extreme number of times we've been having damaging strong winds this winter. Many high wind warnings and advisories. In Louisville, the windiest time of the year used to be just March, when you would hope to be able to fly a kite around here. But no longer. Even on sunny days, winds have whipped through Kentuckiana, knocking out power and damaging property for the past several months. Last night, during a 9 o'clock news conference, the head of the Louisville National Weather Service office said it was the windiest winter he had ever seen around here. So I wondered, why is that? I'll have the story tonight at 6 as we talk to John Gordon again about it today. And the impact from the tornadoes and the wind is being shown on the latest live look at the LG&E power outage map. Currently in Metro Louisville, 4,500 customers are still without power. That's down from a high of about 18,000 last night. In Indiana, Duke Energy says they have restored power to nearly all folks, and they say they have only about 58 customers without power in the southern Indiana counties being served by Duke Energy.
Well, as we told you last night, the National Weather Service has confirmed 3 tornado touchdowns in Louisville.
One of those happened at 5:05 p.m. and last night one of our live cameras was pointed toward the southwest. Ben Pine went back and looked at what was recorded. And Ben, you have a very interesting look at what exactly happened.
Yeah, and it kind of gives you the nature of the squall line, little spin-up tornadoes. If you take a look here, this is our U of L online campus cam pointed off to the southwest from U of L. First off, look at the right side of your screen at the hills across the river in southern Indiana. They will just disappear from the really heavy rainfalls. We put this in motion. And then you're going to notice as the clouds get closer, there's a lowering. And this is what happens. These little funnel clouds can dip down very quickly with maybe in just a minute or two on the ground, or even less than that, maybe just seconds. Notice as we go a little bit further in time, that possibly could be a rain-wrapped tornado as we look to the southwest towards PRP direction. Not 100% that that's an actual tornado, but again, that's how they behave. They just dip down, then pop right back up. And that's why we really want to emphasize, even if you're not under a tornado warning, when these powerful lines of storms move in, even if it's just a severe thunderstorm warning, treat it like a tornado warning and seek your shelter and head inside. Lower 50s out there now, more than 30-degree drop in temperatures, and of course the 85-degree temperatures that we had yesterday fueling those powerful storms that rolled through Kentucky and metro Louisville. We've got a mix of 40s and lower 50s out there, definitely jacket weather for this evening, and still pretty gloomy, especially to the south, where we have some light rainfall lining up along the Bluegrass Western Kentucky Parkway and down to the Cumberland Parkway. This rain is expected to fade away a little bit later on tonight. Partly to mostly cloudy overnight and chilly. Low temperatures will be down to the upper 30s and lower 40s as we get started tomorrow morning. We'll have some filtered sunshine with some high clouds tomorrow and just a tad warmer with upper 50s and lower 60s. But this is going to be the beginning of a long stretch of dry weather, which of course will be very nice across our area after a busy weather pattern that we've had. And we also have a gradual warm up as well. We'll show you those nice changes just ahead in our complete forecast.
Thank you, Ben. For the LaRue County Sheriff today, an elderly woman was hurt last night in the community of Roanoke after a large board, which you see right here in this photograph, right in the middle of your screen, came flying through her house and hit her. This is about 30 minutes east of Elizabethtown. She was injured and sent to Louisville's U of L hospital for treatment.
Well, you guys have been fantastic at sending us photos from the storm all day. We love to see them. These photos were sent to us by a viewer showing two massive trees toppled over after the intense winds. This happened at the Harrison County Library that is over in Indiana. If you'd like to send us what you're seeing outside your home, text us those photos to 502-582-7290.